Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want to talk about sexual misconduct from people you know and you suspect there's something going on. I think I talked about children a couple weeks ago about sexual misconduct. I want to talk about sexual misconduct when you know is either somebody of power or a great authority, and that is the head of that particular church or organization. But most of the time, these abuses happen at church. People don't understand the vulnerability when you in worship. People are usually vulnerable. People tend to not study, so they tend to take the word of their pastor as verbatim as truth, which is not correct. You should trust God and not the word of a pastor, but pastors have great influence. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because if you talk to that pastor, you talk to someone above or elder, and they don't believe you, most likely that person will be exposed, and they may stop for a little bit, but they'll come back down the line, because I've seen it. I had an ex-girlfriend when I was in my 18 that was tossed around to every relative and person of influence, including pastors. And it was just a pain that she can never stop, because it happened when she was young, and it built a lot of distrust. But anyway, some of this stuff happened to her by the pastor of that particular church. This was about 94, 95. Now people warned, she even warned some people, but people just considered her a whore. So her word versus a pastor, it didn't mean too much. But sure enough, he did it to somebody else, and that person told their parents, and then, when it's happening secretly to other people and everybody find out, you get a lot of "me too." This happened to me too. And how this particular church handled it, this guy resigned and moved to a different conference or organization within the church, and it was bad. It was bad. I had situations where physical abuse was happening, and I told this particular pastor, actually the church I sometime attend, I told the pastor, I wrote an email, I sent him court documentation to support that this person is an abusive person. The pastor didn't believe me. They did a kiss off. Thank you for your time. We will investigate. Blah blah blah. And basically, we're not gonna do nothing because it's your word versus this other person. And it was so hard. In fact, the same situation, the man that did this is still there. And a situation happened last year with other members of another church and this person did it in front of them. They were shocked. And because this was a different culture, they kind of hit it like, we're from another country, we have to stick together. Let me tell you something about this culture thing. Culture should never replace what's right and wrong. And because you have a loyalty of a culture, either that's Black, African, Italian, Jewish, Korean, Hmong, whatever, it should never override what's the right thing to do. It should never override it. And you should not give somebody benefit of the doubt because it's within your culture. It was terrible. I mean, and the sad thing about it is this person still stopped because how a lot of abusers do, they stop and to hide their tracks, and then they'll come back 6 or 7 months and do it again to somebody else that's new to the area. That's usually a lot of things that happen. They get their guard down, they befriend them, they make him like, hey, I'm just like you, I'm just trying, make it, let me just help you, and then boom, something happened, and then it's your word against that person. I would strongly recommend exposure, but it's a tricky thing because if you expose, you may put that person that's been abused in jeopardy. So you got to really be careful how you tell somebody, because sometimes you telling somebody and then you go back to your life. I literally just saw it last year. I made a charge against somebody that was abusing their child. They had video proof. I reported to DCF, which is Department of Children and Family, which I'm a part of, a different division. They came back unsubstantiated. On the low key, that kid got punished, and she was devastated because the trust that was there, it really got ruined because the person was like, oh, you told somebody on the low key, I'm gonna punish you on the low key, but I won't leave no marks, or I'm a mental abuse, or I'm gonna take things away. And this person never gave me that trust again, and I made the terrible mistake thinking that because there was physical proof on video of things that the DCF was going to step in, and they did absolutely nothing. That is a lesson learned that I will never make that mistake again. As far as somebody abuse, tell somebody. Tell somebody. And if that means you don't go to that church anymore or that organization, then so be it. I've left literally a church last year because I told them, hey, you need these things in place, security-wise. I'm self-defense. So I do, everything about me is self-defense, security, self-defense. And all I got was a God bless you, and, God's my source. So I said, and I went on their YouTube channel. I went on their Facebook page. I sent a email to the conference president. I sent email to the elders of the conference. And my religion is Seventh-day Adventist. So it's very conference based. And they did nothing. I wrote them for about 6 months. 6 months, and they did absolutely nothing. So if something happened, it's on them. If it's another child involved or another person, please tell somebody. But it's a very careful dance. You have to be careful. So if you go to snitch, you have to snitch with purpose. So A lot of people think, oh, let me go tell you something. Then you leave that person in the situation. This is generally the case when it comes to people in the hood. We don't see nothing, we don't say nothing, because if it comes round, then we gonna get got. That's the truth. That is the unspoken code upside, So that's terrible. If that, people, and I understand you're going to probably not be believed and stuff like that, but you got to say something. You can't sit there knowing that a person is being abused and you just yeah, okay, it's not my place. It is your place. It's your place. It is your place. It is your place. It is your place. It's absolutely in your place. You need to tell somebody. And of course, I watched this on Active Protective Shield. With John, and he was talking about the subject, and I 100% agree with what he's saying. So, I felt like I needed to do this. We gotta protect people. So, that's all I have. Have a good one.